the only reason I'm making this video is because every single class, absolutely every one of them. And for a new player, or warrior, because you don't really know much else about the rest of them. So, I'm going to give you a quick rundown and base it on Knight. Knight is definitely the easiest class, in my opinion, to start the game with because it has really good stats, including its higher, it has, I believe, yeah, it has one of the highest vigors on here. And the Knight armor set is an awesome armor set. And with a vitality already at 15, you can have it all on and still be able to have your shield and weapon without fat rolling. It's a great class if you're wanting to do a strength build or a quality build, and it's just a great class in general. Now the mercenary. Now the mercenary isn't one that I generally use because I don't like the weapon. I've seen a lot of people in PvP use it. I just don't find this class that special. If you're gonna go a dex build, I would probably still pick something else. I mean, yeah, it has the highest dexterity, but I'm not a fan of the 9 luck. I mean, it's a lot. That's a lot of unwasted that's a lot of wasted points. And only 10 strength. You're not gonna be able, like most good dex weapons, including the Uchigatana, you're not gonna be able to wield with only 10 strength. So you're gonna have to, you're forcing yourself to put points in strength, which you clearly don't want to do. I do like that it starts at level 8, but and I also don't like that this is the sellsword armor. I'm not a big fan of it. So, I mean, while this class isn't bad for a dex build, if you're doing anything else, I definitely wouldn't recommend it. Now, the warrior. If you're not completely new to the game and you're wanting to go a strength build, this is the class for you. Absolutely. Starting level 7 is awesome. That gives you so much to play with. It has one major downfall, and that's that it has 11 luck. Now, unless you're wanting to build a luck build, that's completely a bunch of wasted points. But it has high vigor and high strength. What this means is if you're wanting to run any kind of magic, any at all, this is definitely not the class for you. But a strength build, absolutely. Now the Herald. Now, this is a class that I have very mixed feelings about. If you're wanting to run a faith build, I wouldn't recommend this build, even though it has 13 faith. I would recommend the cleric. So, also, this spear here is terrible. It's absolutely god-awful. He's got a decent shield, he's got some okay armor, and if you like the way the armor set looks, you can get it pretty early on. Don't worry about that. Same with the sellsword, warrior, and knight armor. The Herald just has nothing cool about it. It starts out with the first aid spell, which you're like, oh, okay, well, it starts out with a miracle. Great. So does the cleric, though, a better one. Next is the thief. Now, the thief, I wouldn't recommend for a first-time player, just like the assassin. The only nice thing about it is that it starts off with a bow, but honestly, you're going to find yourself using a bow way less in this game than you probably did in Dark Souls 1 and 2. I mean, the bandit's dagger is alright. It starts at level 5, which is great. Now, if you're wanting to run a bleed or a poison build, I would highly recommend this class because of its high beginning luck stat and still low level. The bandit's knife applies bleed damage, and it's pretty good overall. But if you're not wanting to do a luck build, the thief is not for you. Now, this class is one that this is the last one I finally started with, and I gotta say, I'm not the biggest fan of it. Now, I went in there and I fought Udex Gundyr. I parried him twice, and I never got hit. It was absolutely a cakewalk. You start off with the target shield, so if you have any skill in parrying, this class may not be that bad for you. And I found the spell Spook to be quite useful. I feel like the assassin is it's not necessarily the best choice for your first run through, but it's more of just like a fun thing to do. Like, after you've beat the game once and you want to have more of a fun playthrough, maybe mess around with trying to sneak around enemies or mess around with trolling in PvP, I feel like the assassin is a great start. His intelligence stat isn't really good enough to consider this a viable option if you're planning to go sorcerer. For that, I would just go sorcerer. Next we have the sorcerer. Now there's not much to say about this. The easiest time with Udex Gundyr than anyone else. Look, you get a small shield, meaning you can walk up there, parry him, and he's a cakewalk. Do you suck at parrying? No problem. He already starts crazy damage that does easily 1/10 of the boss's health bar. You're gonna have such an easy time with the boss, it's kind of gonna put Udex to shame. That being said, in PvP, in Dark Souls 3, sorcery is just not near as good as it used to be. Now, that being said, the sorcerer, I don't know. If you're, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not a big fan of sorcery in this game, and don't think that that's biased, because I was a huge sorcery fan in Dark Souls 2. But in this one, it's just so lackluster to me. And the starting weapon, oh god, it's just awful. Now the Pyromancer, oh boy. Now this one, oh, actually there's something I forgot to mention about the Sorcerer. Yeah, you'll see that in that ring slot down there, he's got the Lingering Dragon Crest ring, which increases the spell effect, which is pretty nice. Alright, now the Pyromancer. This was the very first guy I beat the game with. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I got Chaos Bed Vestige, and man, it was so good. Now here's what makes him better than everything else in this list, in my opinion. Now I'm only saying that if you go magic, like any kind of magic, then this is definitely the guy. And here's why. If you decide that you want to go full faith instead, he's got 14 faith, which is only 2 less than the cleric. You decide you want to go sorceries with it, you're only 2 points below what he was. But now get this, he gets a small shield, so you can parry pretty early on, and he gets an actual decent weapon, the hand axe. That's awesome. I mean, there's just nothing wrong about it. I'm not a big fan of the outfit, but I get over that. I unequipped that crown thing right off the bat just because I think it looks dumb. He also starts out with the Great Swamp Ring, which is really nice because it boosts pyromancies by, I believe 8%, which isn't bad. Pyromancy in general in this game is so freaking good. Oh my gosh. I killed Aldrich in NG+1 with 5 Chaos Bed Vestige, and that was it. I didn't have to do anything else, and I'm not particularly skilled, but the rings that you can get to power up a pyro are just so good. This is by far the easiest class to play the game with, and it's a monster in PvP if you can learn how to aim those Chaos Bed Vestige. And I just noticed that his sock things look really weird. Anyways, okay, Cleric. Oh boy, so I've only once really messed with this class. The only time I've really made a good faith build is when I respect my 120 Pyromancer. That being said, compared to the Herald, he's so much better. Sure, his shield's not all that glamorous, but it's not bad. It still blocks, I believe, 80%, which isn't bad at all. But he's got this mace, and let me tell you something, maces in this game are brutal, including this one. You will have no problem with Udic Skundir, especially if you're good with those parry timings. Also, he takes less damage from backstabs due to that weird turtle thing on his back. And he's got good stats. The only downside I would say with this class is that his luck stat is pretty high, but you'll get over it. Plus, come on. If you're wanting to run faith, clearly this is the class for you. And finally, Deprived. Oh boy, Deprived. Level 1. What does that mean? That means that if you pick Deprived and you're into this game, I wouldn't pick Deprived your first playthrough. I did, and I had a hell of a time with Udex. I mean, the shield cannot parry whenever you press the parry button, and instead hits it forward, but it doesn't do much damage. The club's alright, it's pretty good. You can two-hand it, and then you can buff yourself, and you can do some decent damage. So it's not bad, but the lack of armor seriously takes a toll on you whenever you're fighting Udex, and you'll notice that. But if you'll notice, its stats are 10 all the way across the board, meaning this class lets you, whenever you respec, literally do anything without limitations. You don't have to worry about wasted points, because if a stat is already at 10, you really haven't wasted anything. Well guys, that's it for the video. In case you guys were wondering, other than magic, my favorite class is Knight. Yeah, I mean, I love the longsword. I'm a big fan of the longsword. I don't think I have a single build where I don't use the longsword infused with something. Anyways, so that's it for the video, guys. And I'd like to thank you for watching. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, where I try to help out the common folk, that is my mission, then be sure to drop in the comments what you'd like me to do. And also, tell me your favorite weapon in Dark Souls. I'm curious. And if you're new to the channel, it'd be much appreciated if you would subscribe to me. And look forward to some future content, guys. Peace out.